Welcome back, Dual Coast fans. We are joined by a very special guest this morning, Jerrid Sebesta. Jerrid, thank you so much for being with us. Russ over there on the West Coast, Jerrid in the middle of the country, me on the East Coast, representing all across the United States. A truly dual coast. How you guys doing over there?
And everything in between, baby.
Everything in between.
We got a lot. Thanks for being here. First of all, we got a lot of lakes in Minnesota, so it's kind of coast-ish, I guess. Not
got like 10,000, right?
Oh yeah,
that's what they advertise.
So like, yeah, it's actually way more than that. Fun fact, right off the bat here.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Another fun fact.
Money, but it's a lot.
For sure.
Another fun fact. Over your shoulder, it looks like there is a sports picture hanging next to the fireplace. Is that you playing football? Maybe.
No.
What is that?
That's an optical. That's my family up there. That's a map.
Yes.
That's a map of. This is all family stuff. Yeah.
What's the one over there? What?
Like right here?
Go the other way.
No,
other way. Far left. Keep going. Keep going. Right. Keep going. There. Yeah, right there.
Oh, it's an optical illusion. That's actually a map. We got that at Hobby Lobby.
Oh.
I did play college basketball, but there's no physical evidence that it ever happened anywhere in the world. And that was before the internet, you know what I'm saying? So,
well, you wanted off the cuff material today, so we're going to talk about your basketball career.
Oh, good. That's gonna be a short
and if I'm busy on my phone, I'm talking to Jerry because I'm working on some natural gas stuff on about $100 billion deal. So just don't mind me.
I love it.
Hey, Jerrid, man, it's great having you on Dual Coast today. It's amazing because Jerrid and I met on an impromptu last minute deal for him to come to New York City and bring your daughter. Right? It was your daughter that came with you, and she stayed in the hotel. That one right there, one of 8. And so Jerrid shows up to Craig's event in New York City for this dinner, and you can't help but miss. You cannot miss Jerrid. He is 6'6", I think. Tall, slender, fit guy, and he stands out in the room. I think there was only one other guy that challenged that height in the room. But, it was great because I was on a panel. Jerrid was asked to be a part of that panel. He was on one end. I was on the other. After he spoke, I said, I got to meet this guy. From that day forward, Jerrid and I started having conversation. We started connecting. We were part of Craig's group in the fall, and we become really good friends. Jerrid was out here a few months ago in the summertime with his other daughter, and we had a great time here in Santa Cruz. She's number 4, I think. I'm sure your wife or kids are listening, over in the kitchen, what's going on, but anyway, it's great to have you. And I'll tell you, if you don't know Jerrid, you got to get to know this guy. He's got a podcast. He launched a book in the middle of our pod last fall, and The Life Undeserved. And so it's just amazing. He is an author. He is a speaker. He goes around. He's got so many great things, irons in the fire that are happening. And I'm excited. You got an event coming up. I want to talk about that a little bit later on, but let's talk a little bit about your athletic career, just a little bit of how you got into sports, a little bit about your family, just so the audience gets to know who you are.
Yeah, sure. Well, I'm honored to be here, Russ. I appreciate you, man. I love you, brother. And Dan, nice to meet you. And likewise, ever since we met, man, we've been good friends. And you've been there. I was thinking about that as I was prepping for this. Like, Russ, you've been there with me, locking arms when I quit my job and walked into entrepreneurship and authorship. And anybody who's done it, it is a scary road. And you, along with other people in my corner, helped me get through a very tender time in my life, both professionally, also personally. I was going, my mom was in memory care. I mean, this all happened when we first started hanging out together. So I'm eternally grateful for you and your friendship. So I just want to start with that.
Thank you. So
Here's the deal. Like, I'm 6'6", right? Like, I don't if you don't play basketball at that point or some sort of sport, like, you're just kind of, it was one of those things where I never took it real seriously. I ended up having the chance to play college ball at a local junior college, actually in the little town that I'm from in West Central Minnesota. Was going to just do it for 2 years, call it good. Ended up having a really good collegiate career at the junior college level. I was a TV weatherman. We'll probably talk about that at some point. I knew I wanted to study weather, which is probably the first time you ever heard a guy say that on this particular podcast. But there was only basically 2 schools in the region that offered that major. And so because I had a really good junior college career, I had my coach call those 2 colleges, and I was unrecruited. Like, I'm just kind of a nobody, and I'm not being coy about that. But my coach called these 2 schools, said, "Hey, I got a guy here, 6'6". He's dumb as a rock, but he tries really hard. And he wants to go to your school to study weather. Is there a spot for him?" One of the schools, St. Cloud State, which is in the middle of St. Cloud, Minnesota, they were just stacked with underclassmen. The University of North Dakota was the other school that offered my major, and they were stacked with upperclassmen. So the coach said, "Hey, if this guy wants to walk on and perhaps redshirt next year, while all these seniors have their senior," because they had 6 seniors on the team at the time, he's more than willing to do that. So that's what I did. I walked on as a redshirt junior. Did not play. If you know what that's like, you just get your butt handed to you, for a year. I mean, my body did things I didn't think was physically possible. I remember calling my dad one time. I was like, "Dad," I was calling my dad every day. When my dad's getting a phone call from me every day, it's not, like my life is struggling. And I'd say, "Dad, I'm so tired and my body hurts so bad. I cannot sleep." And he just laughed. Because he's from the military, so he didn't care. And anyways, I went a year and a half of never playing a game. Russ, you don't know this. This is a fun fact. The last game I had played was in March of 1999. Fast forward, it's now November 17th, 2001, my 22nd birthday. I'm now playing my first game in a year and a half. My last game was for a small junior college, and now my first game in a Fighting Sioux uniform is at Lawrence, Kansas in Fog Allen Fieldhouse playing KU, the Jayhawks, on ESPN.
That's awesome.
No, they were expected to go to the Final Four that year, which they did. They had 4 future NBAers, Nick Collison, Kirk Heinrich, Drew Gooden, all these guys who had extensive careers in the NBA. I had to guard all these flipping guys. And so they're packed with 20,000 people at Fog Allen. It's their opener on ESPN. And it's 3 minutes into the game, and I'm checking in, and Drew Gooden, who played 17 years in the NBA, is sitting next to me. He's now a sophomore from Compton, California. He's 6'10", this dude from the hood. And guess what? I got a guard, that guy. And it was absolutely terrifying. True story, I got dunked on bad by a guy named Nash.
Poster.
I got posterized. I made we were at an Applebee's on the KU campus afterwards, and I'm watching myself get dunked on all the TV.
I'm gonna have to find that. I gotta find that reel.
I've destroyed all the evidence.
You said you weren't you said you were unknown. You are known.
I was known for all the wrong right now, but it was great. I ended up by the end of my junior year, I was a starter. I ended up taking one of the guys' spots on the team. And I was just a role player. I was a guy who came in, brought a lot of energy. I was the smallest guy at my position, but I was fast and I could jump. And so I was able to hold my own. I never got a guy smaller than me, and started off and on my senior year, had a full ride scholarship by my senior year. And then that was done. I was 23. I was ready to kind of be done. So,
yeah. I know Dan's probably going to bring up the weather stuff, but I gotta ask a question about the weather thing. Is, the joke that I'm sure everybody knows, right, is how does a weatherman make $250,000 yet be wrong most of the time? Because here in California, we were supposed to have a clear week, then all of a sudden rain showed up. Yesterday, we didn't even see the sun yesterday, and it was supposed to be clear. How is that possible?
There's a couple fallacies in your statement. I never made $2 million. I always made a fraction of what people thought. There was one guy, I remember one time I walked in the room and the guy's like, "How much money do you make?" And "What do you think I make?" And he said, "There's no way you make under 750." And he was talking thousands of dollars.
Wow.
And I just bust out laughing. I mean, I'm not here to throw my previous, but I mean, I never made 6 figures. I wasn't even close. Most of my 12-year career, I wasn't even close. So it was the perception. Anyway, that's one fallacy. But whenever I go speak, I immediately open with, this is how I open. I get introduced, round of applause. And I say, "I had the best job ever. I was a TV weatherman." And it usually either gets crickets or people cheer or people boo. I got booed. And then I address the elephant in the room and I say,
that's funny.
Job, can you never get canceled? Can you
Yeah.
never, there's no accountability. And then ultimately it's the only job you can be right 20% of the time, still get paid. And so what you just said there, Russ, I get it out of the way because everybody's thinking it right off the bat.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
Well, in Buffalo, I got to see behind the scenes because I was on television. And so I was in the room for the whole broadcast of what was going on behind the scenes. So it went from, this gal to this guy, then this guy moves over here, he does the weather. And, it was just like watching this thing just orchestrate. And then off camera, somebody that's off site, that's on doing their spot, that's in another state. It was unbelievable to see the flow.
Yeah, from a broadcasting standpoint, it was a lot of fun. It really made. Talking for 3 minutes to a camera is not hard. It's not hard. When you've got 1,000 things going on, it makes you level. That's where the men stand out from the boys. We have the Minnesota State Fair here, which is like iconic. I don't know if you guys got state fairs in your state, but like the Minnesota State Fair is iconic, and all the TV stations go live from the state fair every year. It's one of the more fun parts of the state fair. And that was by far the biggest challenge in even covering severe weather. That was a huge challenge because they'd give you 6 minutes. Like you'd have a whole block and it's all you, and there's 300 people in a barn. It's 90 degrees. Half of them have been drinking all day. There's barn animals and they're like, first you got to come out and you got to interview the butter queen, the Minnesota butter queen. And then you've got a band over here from such and such high school, and then give the weather. And you would take every day we had one person from the audience hold up this sign that was the forecast for the 7-day, and then toss it to sports and mention this. And let me tell you, man, that's like where you would level up your game. And now going on speaking on stage, that was all great practice for being able to go on stage and being able to communicate. So it wasn't wasted. I don't want to go back to that, but it was great training to get me to kind of really what I do now.
Yeah. So is the state fair so well known because it's next to St. Cloud University?
It's not like here in Minnesota. Like we're in the middle of the country. So like state fairs, barn animals, just where you can just sing hee haw. Country's real big. I don't know where you live, but like there's people. All the kids have these jacked up trucks and. We're country. So like the state fair is like the epitome of like a country reunion, and forget about it. It's fun.
That's awesome. I have to ask a completely irrelevant question. What is the Minnesota butter queen?
The butter queen. Yeah. So you have to like apply for it. And I think if you win, some sort of sculptor makes a sculpture of you out of butter.
Got it.
So,
that was not what I was going to guess.
Yeah. So we're dairy farmers here, like not this part of the state, southeastern Minnesota, a lot of dairy farmers. So it's a huge dairy, and close to Wisconsin, they're all right. But that's all cheese heads over there. So yeah, we're very egg. We're very just
cheese. I get it.
I got the cheese heads and the butter queens, and then it's awesome.
That's so good, man.
That's funny, man. Jerrid, let me touch on this real quick because you brought it up. So you had this career in weather. You were a weatherman out in Minnesota. So you just talked about leaving a successful TV career to pursue kind of a deeper purpose. What type of mental shift or breakthrough did you have to have mentally and mindset-wise in order to make that jump, to get out of your comfort zone, to step into this unknown territory? And what can you give advice, or what advice could you give to somebody who's looking for that internal change within them?
Thank you for asking. Yeah, you have to be really smart or really stupid, or both. I'm not really sure which one. When I left, I've now left 2 10+ year careers, both of them very different, both of them, very successful, air quotes. When I left my TV career, I think that had been brewing for a long time. And I think that was the first time that I kind of experienced like, this isn't what I want. And what made it I think really surprising a lot of people is that from the outside, it looked like I had everything that everybody would want. I mean, I was 30 in my lower 30s. I was working for a legendary station. I had a great time slot. I was the weekend guy. I got paid to have fun and be wrong. And I got to work with great people. But as that career continued to grow and my stock prices went up, I felt like I was actually getting farther away from what I wanted. And here's the crux. I felt like I was getting farther away from who I wanted to become. That was the big one. Every year, with all due respect to both of my careers and all of my employers, it was just kind of the same thing over and over again. It's just same year. It's you get in a rhythm and it's the same thing. And I wasn't like having a midlife crisis at that point. That came later. But I understood that like life is just kind of, it's just play, repeat, play, repeat, play, repeat. And there were so many things I wanted to do. And so that was the first time where I was like, I'm going to follow my dream, even though it doesn't make sense to the world. And this is becoming even more and more clear. Even now I'm almost 47. And I'm like, I think most humans, this is me talking. I think most humans have no clue what they want. I think that
I'd agree.
Think they want is actually a mirror of what other people want for their lives. And since they don't know what they want, we just by default take those dreams and internalize them. And so many of us, me included, we spend so much of our time, effort, energy chasing and pursuing something that really isn't who we are. To me, that's the tragedy of life. I think that is the core of human suffering, where we don't connect with our own soul. The most fulfilling people in this world, whether they have $1 billion, $0, whether they're business people, they live on a ranch in the middle of the mountains. It's the people that are living true to who they are. And that is so over cliched. But I think like, and this is me included, this is where I am today, November 4th, recording this with you guys. Like, as I continue to build my business and direct, this path that I'm co-creating with my creator, I want it to be true to who I am. And so, I run when I scroll on Instagram and I see somebody doing something, there's this innate thing. I don't know. It's just human nature where like you see somebody doing something or having something or building something, or something in my soul that like craves that. And I'm learning to like, is that me? Or is that my own fear, lack, and scarcity wanting that? Because if we're not careful, we will spend the bulk of our lives chasing something that isn't even truly who we are. And the biggest tragedy of life is we get to the end of our life, like Bronnie Ware has said, this quintessential book, The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying, I lived a life that wasn't true to who I am. Well, to answer your question, Dan, like that was in a very unintentional way the first time that I really said, this is what I wanted. This is what's true for me. And I got to say though, like my dad was shocked. My dad was living vicariously through me. He got more attention than I did because I was his name and everybody knew him as Jerrid's dad. And when I left, it was kind of a shock to him, And so, but this is the essence of life, like stepping into, to me, breakthrough. The way I define breakthrough, it's when we take even a mini step closer to who we actually are. That is the journey of life.
Yeah. It reminds me of a book written by Rick Warren, The Purpose-Driven Life, right? Is finding what is truly our purpose, right? And going through last fall with you, as you're going through this process and feeling the anxiety, right, of finishing the product. A lot of people, we all have stories. And now that you're an author, you probably hear this when you're talking about a book. You're talking about your book, The Life Undeferred. Is people come to me as an author and they say, I started this book, or, I have this idea, or, my story, but they never follow through, right? And I have got to give you huge props. And there are a lot of authors out there. It seems like there's more today than ever before. It just seems like a lot of people are writing, but a lot of people are sitting by and doing nothing with their story. And with your story, I'm so proud of you for following through, writing your book, The Life Undeferred. And I want you to take us through What brought you to that point, and what really got you through to making it happen and sharing that?
Is there an equation? Like, is there an algorithm? Is there a framework that everybody can follow, that gets them from here to here, that gets them to breakthrough, that gets them to like stepping into more of who they are? And I think there are certain buttons that you can push and levers that you can pull. What worked for me may not work for the next guy. But I got to tell you, what worked for me is that I had no plan B. Like, I was the plan B.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
There was it had to work, Russ. Like it had to, because I couldn't go back. I fired myself. So again, my second career, Dan, and I was a business development director at a local financial company. So like, I was not a financial advisor. I was the one driving the business, the marketing, the PR, all that stuff. And I was good at it because I have a communications background, and I'm a salesman. That's really kind of my essence, right? But it was killing me, dude. And no disrespect to that employer. I'm making six figures pretty effortlessly. And I fired myself 2 summers ago. I fired myself. Like, I had a coffee meeting with my boss. He's like, "What do we do with you?" And I'm like, "Dude, I just want alignment. My soul is, and I didn't use like this verbiage, but like, I was just craving a connected life where there's consistency, where I don't have to be one guy at work and another guy on stage. And I want to be talking about the same thing throughout my day, where I don't have to talk about 401ks over here and then talk about purpose over here. It's just, I needed alignment." And he goes, "What do we do with you?" And I said, "You fire me." And he goes, "When?" And I said, "Now." So I left that day unemployed, 4 kids, 45 years old. I'd committed to writing a book a month prior to this, and then it was on. If I look back though, Russ, because here's how I look at it. And again, for people that are watching this, you'll see me. Like, the job was the job. It is what it is. Steady Eddie. What was changing in that equation? I was changing. So I was growing. And the nail in the proverbial coffin for me was when I committed to writing the book. Not wrote the book, committed. Once I committed to I leveled up. I broke through. Like, there was a leveling up in my soul where, like, Jerrid, this is who you are. Yeah. And then it was inevitable that I was going to either fire myself or get fired, or both soon, because that leveled me up. I'm going this way. The job is just steady Eddie. So that gave me the momentum, the energy, the desire. Yeah. Like, this is who I am. I must go forward. I'm done living for 25 years. This playing small. I don't even want to say it's an empty shell. I don't want to play at a lesser evolved version. And so that's what drove me. And I had to do it. Like, I had to make it work. But, for some people, that's almost too much. Like, you got to make it scary, but not so scary that you succumb to the fear and it cripples you. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, again, I've been a Dave Ramsey guy for 20 years. So like, we're going to live on less than you make. So like, I had the financial stability as well. You know what I mean? So that's a factor. How much can you handle? How much fear and anxiety can you handle? That's a factor. Yeah. Because you want to make it scary. It has to be scary. It has to be. Yeah. It has to be challenging. It has to press you, because that's the process that molds and shapes you into the vessel to contain the blessing that's coming. But it can't be so high, so like the people say, burn the ships, burn the ships, burn the ships. For some people, that's going to work really great. For some people, that will scare you so hard, it will cripple you. Yep. So where is this magic balance where you're pressing just enough of the buttons and pulling enough of the levers to make it work? There's a statistic out there that say married men make more than unmarried men. That's statistic. That's not a political statement. That's just fact. And you could argue, why is that? And I heard one guy say, it's because they have to.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So when I'm sitting here and I got 4 kids staring, I'm in this house that's got a mortgage and this world's got to go around, like, I had to make it work. So here's the magic key. What hyper accelerates that process? Because success is inevitable. It's inevitable as long as you don't quit. So you need to do everything you can to collapse the amount of time it takes, because the longer it takes, the more your chances of quitting early occur. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
Well, if you're trying to like get something done, the faster you can get it done, the better, because it collapses time. And there's a system at play. And the more energy, the more passion, the more heart, the bigger, I don't want to say risk, but the more investments that you make into the system, the faster it moves. I got to tell you, a year ago, Russ, because we were in a very intimate group. I was like, if I could just make a couple of G's a month, I will bleed, but I won't die. I remember saying that over 1 year ago.
Yep.
I'd given up a 6-figure job. I'm like, I don't need to make that. I just need to make like $4 or $5 grand a month. I will bleed. That doesn't cover my monthly nut, by the way. Like I will bleed, but I've got enough money in the bank where I can survive for probably 2 or 3 years if I can make back my income. And I'll spare you the details, but in a year, I have like I had the biggest month of my life in October, which represents a massive chunk of my 6-figure salary in 1 month. Mm-hmm. And so what is the process? And by the way, that is not a brag, that I'm just saying, like, that's a testament to what you saw, Ross, where it's like you throw insane amounts of almost getting to the point of being obsessed, which, by the way, is not a bad thing in many respects. Getting obsessive and trashing your family, bad. But throwing energy, when I say obsession, I mean throwing energy into the system so you can hyper accelerate the growth, so you can get the breakthroughs as fast as you can, because the longer it takes in between those breakthroughs, the more likely you are to quit. And quitting is a guaranteed decision where it won't work. Success, I said this on Instagram like this week, success is almost inevitable. It's almost inevitable as long as you just keep putting energy into the system and pushing ahead. It's will come. But I got to tell you, everybody who's got a successful business, I'm always like, how long did it take? How long did it take where it's like you're out of this like freaking out in the middle of the night phase? You know what they say? They all say 3 to 5 years. 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
Dude, if you're going to go into entrepreneurship, build something great, you better just freaking buckle up and get prepared to get your face kicked in for about 3 to 5 years. Mm-hmm. And if you don't have the gumption and the cojones to stay in it, don't do it, because it's too effing scary. Pardon my French. It's too scary. It's too, 3 o'clock in the morning, guys, I'm pacing around this room right here, 3 o'clock this morning. Not because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to, do something, harmful. No, it's that scary.
Yeah.
I know it looks like I'm winning on the outside, and I am, but this is a scary process. And the only thing that keeps me going is between me and you guys. The only thing that keeps me going is trusting that if I do this long enough and I keep putting energy into the system, the breakthrough is inevitable.
Yes.
Because if I look at it through logical lens, I would have freaking quit a year ago. But we can't live through that lens of logic. Logic it's a smokescreen.
Yeah.
You'll quit immediately.
Love it, man. Love it.
That was so
and just being through the process with you last fall was amazing, and 6 months of just coming together every Tuesday morning, the four of us on a Zoom, and just feeling the heartfelt passion, not just with you, but with Sal, with Craig, and just tears. There were days of tears that we were sharing. So I have seen that. This guy is real. Jerrid is real. His words are real. And I'm just so proud of you, man. What were you going to show us?
I love you. And I just got to share this. So I'm actually interviewing this guy tonight. His name is Tim Shermack. I mentioned him in this chapter 1 of my book. He has a company called Platform Marketing. He's from this little dinky town in Minnesota where I'm from. His company was just awarded the Inc. 5000 award. And then he said this in rebuttal, and I'll spare you the details. He says, I won't read it all. Most people grossly overestimate the amount of skill and underestimate the amount of stubbornness it takes to be an entrepreneur. It's really just about being stubbornness and just hanging in there. Business is more about perseverance than it is intelligence. He says, and pardon my French here, I don't know if I can swear in here. Your ability to eat, your ability to eat, with a smile on your face and then ask for seconds is more important than technical skill. He said this. I thought this resonated. He says, if you can eat uncertainty for breakfast, you at least got a chance. True or false? Entrepreneurship, and on my glasses, entrepreneurship is not for the vast majority. You have to be a little crazy. He's being serious. He goes, you have to be a little crazy to do it. He goes, entrepreneurs have probably some deep pathological issues. Chaos. And again, he's being a little sarcastic, but I understand.
Yep.
Like, he just basically says in that post, he's like, if you can't handle the fear and anxiety and the stubbornness to stay with it, because your motivation will be gone before you hit that first level of fear. He's like, you'd be better off, honestly, just go get a high paying job. Seriously, just go do it. Because it'll be a lot less tormenting.
Yeah.
It'll be a lot less stressful.
Those are great words, man. Thanks for sharing that.
Jerrid, so everything you're saying pretty much kind of emphasizes not deferring life. It's acting now on it. It's kind of everything you're saying right there. So that requires discipline in a lot of strategic ways and non-strategic ways, I guess you'd say, but a lot of discipline regardless. So you must have some daily non-negotiables that you must utilize yourself that kind of you rely on to stay aligned mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. Anything that you would recommend or anything that you do specifically that keeps you feeling motivated?
So my wife and her best friend.
I know what he does. I know what he does.
My wife isn't here right now, so I could talk about her. So she and her best friend are going to Florida on a little girls trip next week.
Okay.
And of course, it's always like, how can I lose 20 pounds like in the next 8 days, And so they're talking about meal prep and all this, they're counting carbs and they're counting their macros. And I'm just going to be honest, like, I just don't do that. But I said, here's what I told my wife's friend. I go, honestly, it's really kind of being boring and just hitting play repeat. That's really what it is, And so from a physical aspect, it's not sexy. Just freaking get your butt to the gym.
Yeah. Like,
it's not just one time. It's just get there every day. Like, I've shamelessly posted some pictures of me at the gym, but like, here's the truth. And again, this isn't a brag. I've been going to the gym 6 and 7 days a week since I was 15 years old. I'm almost 47. I go to the gym every day. Many days I go twice. And so like I'm the first one up. I get up at 4 or 5, not because like I'm part of the 5 a.m. club and I think that earns me something, but I function better in the morning. I get most of my energy out. Afternoon, I'm useless. I'm freaking useless after 1 o'clock. If you want me to write an email or dude, I'm useless. So I fine tune my schedule. I think your audience needs to hear this. Optimize your life to what fits you. If you're not a morning person, stop trying to go to gym at 5 o'clock in the morning. Go at 3 after you've had a couple of meals, right? If you're most creative at night, stop trying to like write your book in the morning because you saw some guy be a part of the 5 a.m. club. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So for me, it's just, I'm a creature of habit and it's treated me very, very well. I don't, from a business standpoint, I must get my mind right. And why is that so important to me? Because that's where I struggle with the most. I spent probably just as much time, no kidding, on this, and I'm pointing to my head and my face for those of you listening, mm-hmm. than I do perhaps even on my business, writing, creating, reaching out, networking. So like, like a morning gratitude walk is essential. This morning I was walking hills. I couldn't leave because my wife we're weird. She helps out with home births. So she was helping a midwife on a birth. And so I couldn't leave my kids here alone, my baby. So I was just walking hills and I'm talking to myself and I'm praying, I'm meditating. I cannot sit down at my computer and write that first email until my mind is right, until I'm whole. Mm-hmm. If I sit down panicked, it is a disaster. And I think that there's something deeply spiritual about when we do work from a place of panic, lack, fear, scarcity. There's a bad energy, not to use the E word, but there's just a bad energy with that. And there's something so powerful when we can be whole, then the work that we do, including the physical work, actually has more horsepower. I'll just share this with you. Like I've always been in pretty good shape, but I've gone through seasons where it's like, I'm like, you know how it's like you're never like in monstrous shape for like 4 decades. Like you kind of go through seasons, you put on a few LBs and you kind of, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. And so for years I sat at like 213, and I'm 6'6", so it's not like I carried it well. But in my mind, I was like, I'd love to be at like 205, like back when I was playing shape, would love to have kind of the ripples down, down here, and I just didn't know how that was possible. When I started going through my own life undeferred transformation a couple of years ago, I started, like, I was having these wake up calls in my mind, like, and what was happening in my mind and in the spiritual is like these lies that I've been believing were just like getting cranked out. Like they were just bam, bam. I just have these massive, like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. I never looked at life like this. And the way that I saw myself, my past, my present, my future was changing on the daily. Mm-hmm. And I remember my physical body started to change as well. There's a post, if you rewind all the way back in my Instagram, a couple of years, there's a post of me at the gym and I'm taking a picture of the scale. When you see my shoes on it, like I'm standing on the scale, it says 199. Wow. And I said on the post, I said, incredible things happen when you start getting your mind right. Mm-hmm. Now I'm 6'6", I sit at like 198 all year long. How do I do it? I keep my mind right. As soon as my mind starts to go, I'm not sleeping, and now I'm eating like trash. The cortisol. I mean, you know better than I do the effects of just stress and all that stuff. So I must keep my mind right. My body is a top priority. But it's nothing sexy. I mean, people are like, "What do you do?" They were back then. They were like, "What are you doing? Did you hire a coach? What's your macros?" I didn't even know what macros were. All I knew is that like my mind was getting right and my body was literally craving to be in a state of ease. It was craving to be in alignment where mind, where body, where spirit. When these three things come together, it's incredible. Like your body craves ease. It craves to be in health. It craves to be healthy. Your mind craves to be healthy. Your spirit, your soul craves to be in alignment. And so all of these, as you know, play together. And when you start working on one, they all go together. But, to answer your question, yeah, I'm pretty disciplined, and you really don't have to try once it's a habit. It just is. It is. And I want to challenge anybody who's trying to change a habit, introduce a habit. 95% of what you're doing is based in the subconscious, meaning 95% of what you do, how you act, how you feel, how you interact with the world, it's all based in the subconscious. And you have to do something a long time to get it in the subconscious, right? That's why when you start going to the gym, it sucks. That's why it's hard to get up early or journal or pray or meditate. But after a while, it gets embedded in the subconscious and you don't have to try. The definition of a habit is that your subconscious is doing it better than you can do it in the 5% conscious. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So like when you're trying to institute a new goal or habit, it's all in the conscious. You got to grind. You have to be thinking about it. You have to be making sure that you're on point. There's friction there. Why? Because you're going against 95% that's baked into the subconscious. But you do that long enough, consistent enough, it then gets baked into the subconscious and it's just part of your being. You don't think about it. So again, I'm not bragging, but again, I've been going to the gym every day since I was for almost 30 years. And so it's not something I try to do. It's just part of my being.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's the goal. It's not like just try to grind out the gym for 90 days. I mean, I appreciate the 75 hards and all those things. They're all great, but that's not the goal. The goal is to embody health.
Yes.
Embody these things. This is a life undeferred.
Yeah. Very well said. So back in the fall when we were talking and whatnot, so Jerrid, he has this diet. We'll call it diet, lack of a better word. He doesn't eat after 6 p.m. and doesn't eat until 12 the next day. Okay. So a part of that regiment in getting his mind and body in alignment is attested to that. And that takes a lot of power within to not eat after 6 and not eat till 12 the next day. So when Jerrid and his daughter came out to visit and they had some other business stuff, the morning of that they were heading back to the airport, doing a hike and whatnot, we went out to breakfast. And we went to this place called Walnut Cafe, which is great. And so his daughter was going through some stuff. She ordered this big old omelet, with the little sides and everything. And she got
a tummy ache.
Yeah, she had a tummy ache. So she was outside. She comes back in. She goes, goes to the restroom, comes back, and everything. And so this omelet is sitting there. And I'm like, all right. This guy doesn't eat until noon, and it's 9 a.m. in the morning. Let's see what's going to happen right here. Well, he pounded it. He ate the whole thing. It was gone. The plate was clean. He's not going to let $15 just sit there, right? But I know that for a fact is his body and his mind, they're in alignment. So when he talks about going to the gym all these years, getting his presence, the way he looks, the way he feels, because they are interacting with one another, how we feel. And so I know that, and I'm affirming everything that he just said. And, more power to you. You've got an event coming up in a very short amount of time. You went out on a limb and you're doing it. You're making it happen. Everything you said, you're making it happen. You've got it within you. You've got a plan. You're going towards it and you're going for it. And I'm proud of you for that as well. So tell us a little bit about the event that's coming up in just a few weeks. 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, it's called Breakthrough. It's November the 20th. Shocker. I remember I was like, what should I call this event? I remember like last summer, and I even all I talk about is Breakthrough. My license plate on my little car says Breakthrough, and I'm looking at that. I'm like, how about I just call it Breakthrough? And I was like, oh, duh, Jerrid.
Look at the license plate.
Yeah. So this, ever since when I launched my book last year, which again, you were right there with me, Rush. Like I did this really fun party here locally in West Central Minnesota. And I was like, that is so much fun. I want to do something like that again next year, about the same date, but I want to do it bigger. And I want to make it about the people, not just about the celebration of the book. And so that had been on my heart for a long time. All the first half of this year, I remember I want to do kind of a signature live event. I got my face kicked in all summer long. I had no speaking gigs, which, by the way, when guys like me have a lot of time, there's a lot of time between opening hits, bad. And so I go into August just not feeling confident at all. But I had 22 speaking gigs this fall, starting in late August through last week. And I'm thinking to myself, just get to the end of August, Jerrid, so you can get back in the rhythm and get the dopamine hits. Yeah. And we're going to, and then everything's going to come together with this event, yada, yada, yada. And everything's going to be great. Right. My first speaking engagement is at a local school. It's a back to school rah event for a teacher. You know what I'm saying? Like the couple days before all the kids come in. I bomb. It probably top 2 biggest bombs of my 10-year career speaking in front of a local crowd and teachers. I bombed so bad that one of the teachers, which is they're local, they know me, went to my website and told me I should change careers. That's how bad I bombed. Okay. Wow. So I got my face kicked in, one of 22. I have my next speaking engagement 4 days later. I'm like, okay, I'm going to crush this one. It's with electrician managers. These are guys, first of all, 50 years old. They've been working for a union for 30 years. They're just, with all due respect, I love these guys, mailing it in. It's 1 o'clock on a Friday. They've been doing training for 3 days, and they're ending with me on a beautiful Friday in September. There's nothing less that these guys want to do than listen to me for an hour. They just want to go home. It's a Friday. Just go home. I'm talking to them about life and how to live life. And I freaking bomb. It was I could have been on stage with a tutu doing backflips, and I would have gotten probably the same amount of emotion this crowd. You know what I'm saying? So I bombed. At that exact same time, I'm thinking to myself, I got to make a decision on this event. It's coming up, dude, in 2.5 months. Because I have to create it. I've got to get a funnel. I've got to sell it, blah, 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 blah. And dude, I had people telling me, don't do an event. I had people that do events telling me, don't do an event. You'll lose money. It's a huge risk. It sucks selling tickets, which is all true. And I was like, and then I had other people saying, do an event, but do it real low key, cheap. Find a free venue, find a bank that'll give you your conference center, and just do it cheap. And I finally got to a point where I was like, I want to do the event I want to do. Mm-hmm. I want to do the event that I feel that represents me. Yeah. And so I picked a date, November 20th. And I said to my wife, I go, November 20th is the day. I want to get it done around my birthday. I want to get it done before Thanksgiving and certainly before the holidays in December because the weather gets a little sketchy here. And I said, November 20th is my date. I picked 2 high-end venues. I put down 5 figures of deposit money and I did it. And I was like, all right, there it is. I had no speakers. I had no ticket sales. I didn't even have a website. And within a week, everything fell into place. Boom, boom, to the point where I was turning down speakers. I was calling like my high level, my super high level. Like, I know this is a long shot. Amberly Lago for one of them.
Yeah.
I call her. I said, I'm driving to the airport, getting on a plane to go to Kansas to do a talk. I go, Amberly, I got her on the phone. Amberly, I know this is a total long shot. I go, but I just have to ask. I go, what are you doing November 20th? And she's like, why? I go, well, I'm doing my very first live event. I go, I got some other people coming. And I go, I'd love to have you. I know this is just stupid. It was a waste of our time. And she goes, I got nothing going on. I'm like, well, would you consider coming to Minneapolis? And she goes, absolutely. And I'm like, huh? Now I'm in Topeka, Kansas, or Wichita, Kansas. And now I can't sleep because now this event went from here to here to here. Now it's like, it was going to be me and maybe a special guest. And now it went from like me to like Renee Rodriguez to me, who's like a global speaker, Amberly. And I got a guy by the name of Arjun Dingra, who him and his brother Neil do these massive real estate events out in Vegas. I'm like, okay, now I'm way over my head. So that's the event. The premise is breakthrough in your mind, your money, and your life. Your mind, your money, your life. How do we have breakthrough? So like the way that event came together, again, there's a system, guys. There's an architecture to how breakthrough happens. And it doesn't happen by sitting and waiting for life to show up. That's a life deferred. I did that for 43 years. I sat around waiting for a feeling, for this opportunity. There's all these things I wanted to do, and I was waiting for the world to show up. We/you need to show up for the world. You show up for the world. You set the intention. You do it. You know why this is important? Because it institutes a very special word, one of the most powerful words in the English language. It starts with F, not that word, faith. It takes faith. When you do something that requires a ton of faith, you then open the door for the divine, God, the universe, or whatever you call it, whatever. I don't give a rip what your beliefs are. You open the door for that force into the system. Mm-hmm. And that event, this event, scary. Russ, Dan, I've lost dozens of hours of sleep over this event. Dozens. And I will probably lose dozens more. This is part of the process. It's part of the cleansing process of trying to rise above fear and trying to like believe that there's a system in place and there's this power that understands who we are and it's doing everything it can to help us along the way. There's a chapter in my book where I talk about the success that you seek is seeking you. The desires of your soul are actually pursuing you. We think it's like, we got to go get it. We got to go find it. We go chase it, kill it, drag it home. Yes, there's work involved. But the real inner work is you going into the future, setting an intention and believing and trusting and then watching and sitting back and watching the divine show up and actually fulfill that need while you sit here and you trust and you believe no matter what the outcome is. And I got to tell you, this event, I'm super excited for it. I'm terrified by it. I go from excitement to terror all in the same, But at the end of the day, I have to believe that this is going to open up doors. Just like last year, I rewind the tape all the time. Last fall, okay, what did I do right? I was pouring energy into the system, trusting and believing. It didn't really make sense on the outside because I quit my 6-figure job and started writing 5-figure checks left and right. Immediately. Most people, when they quit their job, they go into like, we're not spending a dime.
Savings mode.
We're gonna pick apples out in the brush. And that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna hunt for our own food. And I did the opposite. I just started writing checks. Well, what was I doing? I was throwing energy into the system. I was throwing intention, energy, passion, belief into the system. And then God showed up. So this event is very special to me. It's my first of hopefully many. I believe that this is the smallest event I will ever do. And if that's the case, holy crap, because this is a big event with some high-powered speakers. I get tears in my eyes as I think about introducing my guests the people that are going to be there. They're going to show up. And it's just such a beautiful thing that we get to co-design our life.
Yeah.
We're not just a pawn. Life, you are not a byproduct of your life. If you want to change your life, you can. You have that choice today. Don't underestimate how much your life can look different in a year, 6 months. Your life can be completely unrecognizable in a year. Mine is. Your guys' is. This is the journey. And it's not about chasing down money. It's a journey of becoming. I look at the way that I thought, the things that I believed, the top of the mountain, so to speak, a year ago. That's just this little tiny valley down there now. So if that's the trajectory, where is it going to be in a year? But the only way that that's going to happen is if you keep pressing the envelope, keep pressing in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because guess what? Once the event's done, all right, guess what? Throwing yourself out on a limb again.
Yeah.
And it's not about the chasing. It's about the journey of becoming. And my wife and I had a very, very intimate talk last night because she's a supportive spouse and she sees what her husband's going through. And I said, the best thing that you can do is just be my biggest cheerleader, because this is scary. And she's seeing her husband go through things that are scary, because I could be excited and in tears in and out. I'm about a minute away from being in terror mode if I allow my thoughts to go there.
Yeah.
But I said, I want you to trust the process, because I trust God's got us right where he wants us. And I go, this is the journey. And everybody I talk to that goes through this journey, they all experience the same thing.
Yeah.
Show me somebody that has built something really powerful that hasn't been in the trenches. And like my friend Tim Shermack said, feel like you get kicked in the teeth and you just eat it for years. This is the journey. Yeah. And I go, this is what I want. This is what I want. I don't want this little tiny small life. I want to live as big as I possibly can. And so to have that, the price of that is that, you know what? It's going to be scary as hell. And so just hang on with me and trust and believe. And when it's 3:00 in the morning and I'm freaking out, you just tell me it's going to be okay. And I go, we'll get through it. And I got to tell you, on the 20th, dude, it's going to be an incredible event. I cannot wait. The feeling of having that event happen when I'm done, the way I'm going to sleep that night, and then buckle up, get ready. On the 21st, get ready and start doing it again.
That's right.
This is the journey, guys. If we seek deferred, there's no evolution. There's no life undeferred. You must be constantly engineering these scary things into your life, physically, mentally, spiritually, financially, relationally. But this is the journey. This is the journey.
And with the mic in his hand, he's dropping it right now. Jerrid Sebesta, man, this has been powerful. And I know that people are going to listen to this. You said so many powerful things in there that were heartfelt, but challenging to the mind, the body, and the spirit. And I'm challenged today. I'm encouraged today. I am thrilled today to call you my friend and to have that friendship with you. This has been a great podcast, a great Tuesday morning with you, and we thank you. Wellness is not about perfection. It is about progress. Where can people find you, Jerrid?
Thank you. Yeah, my website is just my name, JerridSebesta.com. I like to play on Instagram at Jerrid Sebesta. LinkedIn's also a place. If you're interested, if you're in the area, if you're listening from the middle of the country, the event is Breakthrough 2025. It's on November the 20th. Just go to breakthroughevent2025.com. But if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see it pinned. But would love to have you. I'm excited for the event and to meet new people. And the thing that will warm my heart is, again, bringing my people together. There's something so powerful when you see people meeting with each other and there's light bulbs coming on and you're like, oh my gosh, I helped get this. Because you know what it's like, man, you get in one of those rooms. No other time in human history has those human beings ever been in the same room, and probably will never, ever be just those human beings together ever again. And there's something special.
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
You got more questions on the event, go check it out. But yeah, let's link up on Instagram and LinkedIn. That'd be fantastic.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much.
Jerrid Sebesta, thank you so much for being with us today. Guys, please check us out on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts. Listen to us on YouTube. Jerrid taking the selfie real quick.
Love it.
All social media handles, Dual Coast Podcast. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. Jerrid Sebesta, thank you so much again for being with us this morning.
Thank you.
Signing off. See you guys next week.